Um, so in last lecture, we have seen the functions. What is function? What are types of functions? How to define a function and call the functions. Okay. Just quickly revise. So what we have done. So tell me what is a function?
It's a repeating set of codes.
Okay, fine. It is set of code which can be called repeatedly when it is needed. Okay. How we can define the function in Python? Which keyword is used for defining function?
DEF.
Def function we are using, then test function name. Function always come in the round bracket. There is no opening and closing bracket in Python. Instead of that, what we are using as a colon. And whatever the stuff that we want to write, that we are going to write within this things. Okay. You may have a print statement or you can have anything you can write here. Okay. So for example, I'm writing the test. Okay. No semicolon is needed for this. Okay. Then this is define. In this way, we can define a function. Then how we can call this function?
Print
What is syntax for calling function?
and
See,
def and any variable. Def test. Sorry, test and any variable.
exactly. Not it is simple variable, it is simple function, it is not parameterized. So it is just
Yes,
simply called
yes.
the function names. If there any parameter is needed, then we have to pass the parameter as well. So in this way, we can define a function and call the function. Okay. So this is simple. We have seen, and after that, later on, we have seen that same function, but just it is accept. Suppose it is something a name parameter is there, an m, anything is okay. At that time, what we have to do, we have to pass one parameter while calling these functions. But while printing, also we are using that. Uh, Whatever, welcome. Suppose we have done some comma, we are using and the name nm. Okay. So now this function is called a parameterized functions. And how you can call this function now? Function
Um,
name,
any
and this as it is
yeah, any
parameterized, then we have to pass one some parameters. Okay. Um, then any name you can pass. Even if you want, you have to use some variable. Suppose m equal to something test, and that m variable also you can pass here. Okay. So this is also we have seen. Now tell me which is the actual parameter and which is a formal parameter here.
the actual parameter is um
Hmm?
m and the formal parameter is nm.
Correct. Perfect. So this is what about all about functions. And then we have seen like instead of print, if I return suppose integer, so def add function I'm writing in passing the two parameter a comma b. Instead of print, if I return the statement, then how we can call now this function? I'm not using the print
So
statement, so I'm using
it,
return.
it
Then
so um then
because
just call out the function.
how you can call, because return statement only return the value, it's not going to print anything.
Yeah.
So whenever there is a return statement, so that function we need to call within a print statement. Okay. So as per like you can pass the value directly or else you can take the actual and format parameter whatever, and then accordingly that will going to print. Okay. So this is all about the functions. You can define the multiple function, you can call the multiple function anything. Okay, no problems. And one more combination I want to show so that function will be done. So let's take one variable class files. Save this file. Okay, fun4.py. Already we have its name. Make it as file function 3.py. Okay, so function we call so I define one function def. Okay, and I would call as out functions colon, just print outer function, outer, outer function. Okay. One more functions I'm going to define apart from this function. So def, so we'll call it as a inner function. Simple. Just print it, and I'm writing name here, whatever the inner function. Okay, now we have a two function. You know how to define a function, how to call the function, but twist I'm going to do here, within that outer function, I'm going to call this inner function, like one more function. I can call function INER, inner. Okay. Now, if I run these programs and if I try to call what single quote, double quote, use the similar quotes, either double quote or single quote. Don't mix up both the things. Single quote, no problems. Out. Okay. If I call INER function, then we'll get the inner function. It is obvious that function we called and then we get out. Okay. Now, if we try to call the out function, then see what happens. Though I call the out function, still it is printing inner function. That means what happened here? We can call any function within another function. It is called a nested function, or you can say that inner functions. Okay. Function can call itself another function itself. Okay. Means it sometime has happened we have defined four three functions, and instead of calling all the functions separately, we can make one functions, and within that function call all the functions so that it will execute all the functions simultaneously. Yeah. So this is also we can do. Okay. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Function call function within a function. So automatically call. Fine. Now, so now one expression we are going to see, and that is nothing but a lambda expression. So as last time we have discussed, so we're going to see now what is lambda expression, how to define a lambda expressions, and this. What is lambda expression? Have you remember, like, do you know anything about this? Have you ever
No.
tried?
No.
Okay. In Python, there is one lambda expression is here. So it is basically like a function only. Okay. But it for only the small expression or small calculation purpose it is used. Okay. This is also called as an anonymous function, the function without a name. Okay. Within a single line, if you want to write some expression and within a single variables or single function name, you can define expressions. So that is having some basic syntax. So I will tell you the how what the syntax is. Okay. So lambda is a reserved word that we have to use. First of all, you have to write the lambda. Then whatever the argument you want to take, that argument you have to take. Okay. Is equal to, not equal to, you have to use a colon here, then expression. Any expression you can write here. For example, if you want to square up number, so we have to define one variable. Any variable you can define. Suppose s is equal to s, then s is equal to, what is syntax? Lambda LAMBDA. Okay. Then argument. In which variable you want to calculate their totals. Okay. Or any output you want. So I'm using the variable as x, then colon. Now, if you want to defining a square, then how you can print a square? X into x. So basically, lambda tried to put all the function definition within a single line expressions. Okay, so that save the lines and also it execute the faster than the functions. But it is only for the small range of functions, limited kind of expressions. Okay. But in function, normal function, we can write any multiple lines, but this is for only for single line. Okay. So in this way, we can define a lambda expression. So any variable equal to lambda keyword, these are the argument and which are the calculation you want to do, you can do. Okay. And if you want to call this function, then simply print. Okay. Which variable you have to print? Just print the s. And it need one variable. So s of any variable. So it will print x is a variable. It will print x into x. That is 25. Okay. Let's do the practically so that you can understand the syntax. Remember lambda, then variable arguments, and then colon expression. You can store it any variable also. Okay. So we'll take 2, 3 example with the multiple expression so that it will be clear. So now I'll go for the new file. Okay. Take any variable, for example, n variable I'm taking is equal to lamb lambda. Okay. As soon as color change, that means it is a reserved keywords or the problems. Okay. Then take the arguments. Any argument you can take. Suppose I'm taking as a x, then colon. Then they based on the what output we wanted. We want to square. We want to square, cube. Any expression that we wanted, that we need to write. But always use the argument which I have defined here. Okay. You cannot do like here defining x and you have to do the y into y. Same variable you have to use x into x. Okay. So this is one of the lambda expression which going to accept the one number and it will print the multiply that number into that number. Which basically it is going to print the square of that number. So first of all, save this program lmd dot py. Okay. So for calling this function lambda expression, we have to use the print statement print print, then n of it need one argument, so we have to pass the one argument as a. So this is going to print the square of number 64. Okay. So basically, it is also one kind of we can say that the secure or hidden function we can say. Okay. Every time we are defining a function name with a test, info, balance, and something, something, something. But this is one single variable. So you only know the in which variable or which keyword I have stored these expressions. So accordingly, you can call at any time whenever you need it. Okay. When you are going to study about the models and that time you will come to know, oh, this is very useful because within a single word you can call and you can pass the value and you will get the outputs. Okay. So this is a syntax. In the similar manner, you can take the multiple argument also. So like for example, you want to do the addition. So I will define one suppose function that's a is equal to. You can take a two word also, no problems. But I'm basically defining single word. A equal to lambda. Now we need two arguments. So I will define suppose n1 comma n2. So any number of argument that you want to use that we can use by the separated by comma. After that colon, and after colon you have to use the which thing you want. You want to do the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, anything you can do. So just but use same variables. So it will print n1 plus n2. Okay. So now this is a lambda expression and you can just simply call this thing. So print just lambda expression name and then two variable we needed to come up for any variable you can use. Just make the two round brackets. It gonna print the 6. Okay. So like this, you can use any expressions, no problems with it will be print automatically. Okay. Now the advantage of lambda expression is within a single line it will define the needed outputs and it execute fast and it will save the number of lines as well. And also it's for security kind of things we can use. We can because we only know in which variable is what output is printed. Okay. But always use some meaningful word so that it will be understandable. Suppose I'm using the add. subtraction, multiplication, that also we can. Okay. So now tell me like now you can take the any number of arguments, no problems. Okay, so it will be print automatically. Now if I want to do the three number of addition, then how you can do? Tell me the expression.
So we have to add N1, comma, N2, comma, N3.
So S is equal to how should we define? LA M B D A lambda. Then you have to take the three arguments. Suppose X comma Y comma Z colon. Then you have to use X plus Y plus Z. Okay. So any number of argument you can take, and just but while printing use the same variable, uh, pass the same number of argument that you passed. S of, okay, three variable whatever, 7 comma 8 comma 9. So it's gonna print some expression. So then
Yes.
got it. Okay,
Yes.
so this is about the functions. So now I can any function define, so you can easily do that function as well. Okay. So now use the combination of all the steps now whatever we learn, if else statements, for loops, if else ladder, and the functions, so that you can combine together and can do. Okay. So don't we are just study the functions, how to define, how to call, and how to use in my quick. Okay. Now we'll take the function example which can be used in real times. Okay. So we have did last time one function that is some basically addition, subtraction, and multiplication functions. But while doing that function, we have used the if else statement. But if you observe that every time we have taken the input for doing addition, subtraction, and multiplications. Okay. But that function is repeated multiple. Means that taking input, we are taking the input from every time. So instead of that, we can write simple function and we can call that. Means or basically we have to accept the two number and we have to do the addition, subtraction, and multiplication. So in this, basically what we are going to do, we are have to take the variable as we have to take the input as an integer number. So I'm using int, and then we have to use int of input. Suppose I'm telling the enter number one, NUMBER number one, then the same expression or same input you have to use N1, and suppose N2 I'm taking. Okay, so enter number two. Fine. So two variable we have taken. So now I want to do the addition, or you may do the like menu. Already we have done the menu one dot py. Okay. So two number it is accepting, and as per also we have to define the menu for user will choose what output you want to do. Okay. So let's do that programs, no problem. So just give the option for the user print uh, one for addition, subtraction, multiplication, divisions, no problem. So 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And 2, 3, and the 4. Addition, then we have the subtraction, then we have multiplication. For example, okay, you can write any expression, no problem. So division. So after that, what we have done, so based on the user input, so user will decide our choice, so that we can ask the input from user also, print int of inputs or ch variable. Ch, so just simply take the number as well, enter your choice. ENER, enter your choice, CHOIC. So choice we are taken from the user, and after the based on choice, what we are doing, suppose if user choice will be a 1, so if CH equal to 1, so that means we have to do the additions, and for that what we are doing, we are accepting this two number, okay, and that number we can use for addition. For example, this number we have accepted, and then after that what we are doing, printing variable answer is equal to n1 plus n2. Semicolon is optional, and after that we are printing the answer. Print print whatever the sum is equal to or addition is equal to, your printing has an answer. So like this expression we have done, uh, what happened? What is missing? Invalid syntax if ch equal to 1 in the colon. What is missing? We add a round brackets or not compulsory round. Oh, if ch equal to 1. What problem here? If statement, we are using round bracket or not? We use round bracket, right? If ch equal to 1, this is what a choice, and user will input the number, and that we are storing into the ch variable. If ch equal to 1, if the user choice is 1, then we have to do these things. Oh, that's tabs also is there. So just remember which variable. Yeah, but it is not intentionary. It is saying the invalid choice, which something we have missed. Oh, so basically, if you observe the error is not here, the error is in above line. So we have the two round brackets here, but we have close only one. So sometime error will give in the next line also. So that we have to remember, not a problem. So now what? Oh, every times we have missed it. Two round brackets, no problems. Fine. So now it's okay. Int of input two number, two number, two number. Just go here. Only one choice we are having. So one, enter number one, enter number two, and we are getting some. Okay. But what I'm trying to show when I'm try to do like second choice. So for example, if the choice is something. So if you observe here, so basically what we have to do, we have to take that input twice. Like if there is a two choice, so again we are entering the number one, number two, and I just we are checking changing the expressions, and this answer we are printing. Subtraction is equal to. Okay. So this is what basically happening here. Now, if I run this program, I will enter the choice two, and again it will ask the two numbers, and accordingly it will print the subtractions. Okay. That is working fine. What I'm trying to do, we have studied the functions. So every time this two number is repeated, means input we are needed for the every block is. Then what we can do so that it will not get repeated every times. So can you tell me like how it can define or what the solution we have? So can we define any functions?
Yes, we can put that into a function and then just call it later on.
So how we can define it? Which function we have to define and which thing is repeated?
N1 and we have to call out the function N1 and N2,
Mhm.
and then we have to put enter number one and two.
So just observe the program. So which whatever the thing is repeated, uh, that thing we have to take outside. Okay, and then we'll make a use of it. Now the question will come about maybe a local variable and global variables. Okay, but let's manage something. So as we know, the input is needed for the every expression. So simply what I'm going to do, I'm going to define the function here. Um, you define function anywhere, no problem. So at the very first beginning, I'm defining one function. The function name should be as suppose input and put inputs. Okay, and within this line, I'm writing for two numbers. Okay. Now we have the function name as an input. So instead of calling this enter number one and number two, I'm just simply calling as a input here. Just go there, inputs. Just now try to run this function. Um, what happened? Which thing is defined? This is input function. Simply we have defines, no the problems. So why it is not asked for the end is your choice. CH is equal to, is there any syntax is missing? DEF input enter number two. Yeah, it is perfect for two number, and the rest of things are functions, and accordingly it's going to print the choice. What is problem? Why it is not accepting the choice? If we define the function, that's right. So let's remove at once. Let's check. Okay, it will now do nothing because we don't have any inputs here. Okay, so do one thing. So define the function at the end. Let's check why it is not working. Now we have the input function already called. Okay, now it is accepting inputs. It is not calling the choice. Hmm, N1 is not defined. Okay, fine. So what basically I'm trying to do, I'm wanted to call the functions, and within once we call that function, so it will ask enter number one and enter number two, but it is not taking the variables. Why? Okay, so basically, instead of implementing directly here, so let's better way. So we'll take these functions and I'm trying to implement in separate functions. So basically, what I'm trying to do, if I call the input function, okay, so that it will ask for the two numbers, enter two number one and number two, and later on it can be used at anywhere for doing anything. So that is not a part. Mm, if I call the input function input inputs, so what it's trying to say that take the zero positional argument one is defined. Why it is doing this? See, basically what I don't want to ask the user to enter number one, number two every time. So instead of that, we have to define one simple function and that call that function whenever it is needed. Okay. So simply that thing I want to do. So after calling this function, so instead of it is asking the enter number one, it is basically saying that number is position is not passed. Why? If I call the input function, so simply it's going to print the message that is enter the choice, but it is not doing like this. Why? End of inputs. Input take zero positional argument, but one is given. What is given? Okay. So type error is there, so it is not happening. So I don't know okay, why it is not accepting the input number. So instead of input numbers, if I use simply input function, then we'll check all the combinations. But okay, fine. So just remove this syntax. No, we're not gonna take the function. Okay, fine. So what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to instead of writing the every time enter number one and number two, so just I wanted to make one common functions, and that common function we have to call just as an input, so that this number will be get accepted, and accordingly we have to print. But it is not doing anything. So just can we take simple function that we can take enter inputs. So that is happening, but it is not calling the number one, number two. So it is working. Okay, but why it is not further asking the value from the users? So that is the question. Mm, it needs some positional argument or something. Okay, I will see how to do that common functions. But basically, what I wanted to do, I just wanted to take the input from the user. Alex means every time instead of writing every time enter number one, number two, I just wanted to define the function, but it is not happening here. No problems. So, is there any other way that we can do? We enter choice, enter number one, number two. Uh, One more thing we can do instead of writing functions. So, can we at very initial level only after the choice, you can ask the number user to enter the number one and number two. Okay. So it first of all it will decide a choice, then it will enter the number one, number two, and based on choice, okay, so write this thing. So I just don't want to repeat this thing again and again. Okay. Now it may give the error that let is undefined n1 and n2, but let's check whether it is working or not. Fine. So first of all, it will ask for the choice that is okay one, then it will ask for the two number one comma two. Now it will go the choice one function. So let's check what we have done. As for the flow, it will define the menu, and then it will ask the choice, enter two number one and two. So based on choice, it will enter here, and after that, it will find the n1 and n2. It is accessible, then it will print the sum is equal to this offline. It is printed, not a problem. Okay. So problem is solved. So always try to observe the programs whenever there is a thing is repeated. So try to make that use a common things. Okay. Now you may call the subtraction also the problems or any function you can call. It should not be repeated every time. So that care we have to take in. So now you can define multiple functions, not a problems that will be problem. Okay. In the similar manner also you can do the multiplication, divisions, anything. Three and choice mul is equal to answer. So enter your choice, three number, enter number one, enter number two, and it is filled. Okay. Yeah, but it is okay. But instead of why it is not worked in the function, that is question. Oh, let's. I will try myself, and then I'll come to know like how exactly. So what we are missing. Okay. Let's quickly check something I did. It's anywhere like so community-driven programs, arithmetics. Not exactly we have done, but let's me find something. Function one, function two. No. Function. No problem. Menu driven. Menu. This menu. Yes, we have did here. See, so function is suppose add function n1 and 2 addition is this. Enter your choice, add n1 and n2, but it is not returning in like def add n1 n2 choice subtraction n2 n1 n1 n2 n1 n2. Yeah, we have done, but it is not in functions. Okay, the function arguments it not take. In while condition we have written. So I will explain how exactly this program works. Okay, so that you can understand. So that program also I'm going to provide you. So I will take new programs and I will save these programs. whl.py. Okay. See, same expression, same program is there, but what we are doing here. So just forget about this. Okay. And now this is quite interesting because what it's going to print or how exactly it works. Up to now, whatever we done, the programs for executing the every choice, what we have to use, we have to run that programs again and again. Once we did addition, that program will get finished. And if you want to do the subtraction, you have to go to that file and runs once again. And so every time for the different choice, you have to run the program multiple times. Okay. But in Python or in any other programming, there is one condition that is while true. When until an condition, the condition is true. Means until and until you are not enter the exit choice, it will ask you the choice again and again. Okay. So while true, uh, until and unless it is a true, accept two number, select the choice and get the output. But once you enter the choice as exit, so that exit function is that, so that going to terminate our programs. Okay. Now let's see. Enter number one. Any number you have to take 3 and 4. Now the choice is add, so it will addition is subtraction, whatever the minus ones. Then again it is asking the number one and number two because condition is two. Now you can decide a multiplication, you can print multiplication also. Again we'll ask the number one and a number two. Okay. So once you enter the five, no choice we are not passing the five. Let's run one more five. Number one, number two, you're asking. But if you don't want to do anything, you just enter the choice as a file. So it will ask to terminate the program. It will kill that program. Yeah. But until and unless you want to continue, you can do it. 2 into 2. And if you want to do some multiplication, you can do. Again, it will ask the two numbers, a different number, 3 and 3. And if you want to do now, suppose uh, division. So division is 1.0. Okay. Again, it is ask two numbers, 3 and 3, 3 and 3. Okay. Choice, I don't want to do anything, exit the programs. Okay. So like this we can do instead of writing that function. So this is also possible. Or even we did a same function just for this is for every time there is no need to run the programs. Just add into the while. And this all condition is within the while loop. You can observe the space is the indentation space. The common space is there. Means everything is within this while conditions. Fine. So this is the programs we have to do. So every time whenever there is a repeating things, just try to find the common factor and that you have to put all the common. Okay. So in this way we can mix up all the things together and we can do the multiple things. So every time we are taken simple example addition, subtraction, multiplication. But you can take any number of arguments or any expression you can add, any mathematical formula you can implement as per your needed. So this is for one common program flow. So you have to for use it. Got it? Okay. Or else you can do the find the square of number, cube of number, area of circle, area of rectangle, or everything. So, okay. And then accordingly you can make a many dual programs actually. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. So fine. In this way, we can mix up the all the flow control and function together. Now tomorrow, from tomorrow, we are going to start with a chapter that is an array in Python, but there is no specific array in Python. So for that, we have to use three things. First of all, we have to use the list. Then we have to use the tuple. Then we have to use the set. Then there is a dictionary. Okay. So these four types of list. Up to now, we have worked on a variables. Means single value basically. If you work with a single value or two values together. Okay. But now we are going to work with a group of value. A group of value means a multiple value together or combined value together. Okay. And then we have to separate the values. Then we have to count the value. Then we have to make a filtration of this group of data. And accordingly, we have to make a use whatever you wanted to do. Okay. So basically now the array concept, list, tuple, set, dictionary, all things we are going to study in this week only. Okay. All the combination, all the example, all we can do together. Fine. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no problem. So no, rest of things will continue tomorrow. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
You understood lambda expression? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I will share this program on GitHub so that you can access that also. Fine. So we'll continue tomorrow, same time. So, yeah.